Fancy racing without pedals? Come and take a look. Greetings Romy, you're watching RomRom, the channel sharing the joy of sim racing. Today we're once again reviewing a sim racing product that could interest you. Thanks to all those who come here often, especially those who subscribe, and even more, our patrons. My name is Serta and I will be your host for this video. What I hold in my hand looks like a normal Cammus C5, but it's a special Cammus C5 because the newest version of the 5Nm DD wheel by the Chinese company needs no extra pedals, as the pedals are on the part of the wheel where you normally have your thumbs. They call it the Cammus ePedals. Interesting idea, but does it work? Follow me. What you get when you buy the C5 ePedal is just the wheel, so if you're using it on your desk, as one is prone to do, you will need to buy the clamp extra. Keep that in mind. All in all, the wheel works like the C5 and C12 do, with a brick for the energy and a USB-C connection to your computer. The Cammus software recognizes the wheel easily and, not surprisingly, told me there was an update ready, which went down as always without any problems. Cammus have improved their PC software extraordinarily since the first version. Of course, there is a difference in that with this wheel you have two further inputs, one for the throttle at your right thumb and one for the brake at your left thumb. And while I at first thought these were on-off switches, they are quite precise in the input and consider the pressure you exert with your thumbs, translating it to more pressure in throttle or brakes. Quite well done, I must say, even if you of course have to learn how to deal with it. But you would have to do that with any pedal, and you have to do that with any car. That's neither an issue nor any hassle. Drive for a couple of hours and you should have it mostly tuned in. The input gets recognized easily by most sims and games, even if Wreckfest misbehaved, but it tends to do that. I rather blame Wreckfest than Cammus in this case. All well and good? Well, no. First of all, the shifting pedals are quite small, so you have to reach further back than you normally do on most wheels and even on the C12. That would not be a problem if you would not have to do that while often enough having to use throttle or brakes. Another thing you should do while setting up the wheel is setting it up for a low turn margin, because if you have to turn this wheel too much, you will have to release throttle and brakes. And it may be me with my big hands, or I may be using it wrong, but having to handle the wheel, the gear shifts and the pedals led to me slowly but surely getting a cramp on my right hand, so that I had to stop driving after half an hour. Other than that, which may rather have to do with my anatomy, the wheel behaved great, though I expect part of the success in using the wheel is because it's a rather low torque version of it. I'm not sure the ePedals would be as easy to use on the C12. I used it a bit with Euro Truck Simulator 2, and there it was quite easy to use, as you don't have to be as hectic with the controls as you have to in a racing sim. One question that was on my mind all the time is, who is this wheel for? Sure, if you have issues with your leg mobility, this may be a way to still drive racing games and sims. But that's a niche demographic within our sim racing niche, and even if we consider racing games in general, I fear the demographic is still too small. And if money is not an issue, I'd recommend using a wheel with 4 pedals. Another demographic may be those who don't have space for pedals at whatever place they are playing. And I'm not sure it's meant for portable use, as the wheel is too big for anyone to be schlepping it around. So this is a good wheel and an interesting way to develop the C5, which is a good and interesting wheel by itself. Cammus should either install bigger shift pedals directly or at least offer an upgrade for it, because I think the pedals were part of my cramping problems while using the wheel. All in all, it's a clever idea that will appeal to those with leg problems, those with space problems, and beginners. or if you are rather a fan of the truck simulators and need some cheap-ish wheel. Although in that case a Logitech G923 at 270 USD all in all may do the trick. The question about who this wheel is for is one that we've been discussing since we got this wheel. Other than those with leg or space issues, who might want to use it? If you have an idea, write it down in the comments. The price is going to be 280 USD plus the clamp, 30 USD, plus shipping, taxes, yada yada yada. Something between 340 and 410 USD. This is 30 USD more than the C5 without the ePedals, and Cammus even has a bundle of the original C5 with clamp and pedals for the exact same price of the ePedal wheel. Also, the wheel and clamp at these prices put it in the vicinity of the Moza R3 and the Moza R5 racing wheels, which come with pedals. So again, we're not sure if this interesting and well-developed idea will reach a large enough population to be viable economically. Technically, it needs some slight enhancements, the aforementioned shift pedals, but all in all, it's nice enough to use, and the way the controller reacts to your thumb input was impressively accurate once I had learned how to use them properly. If driving with no pedals is something you need or would like to use, this wheel may be exactly what you want.